guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a fun one. This one's more fun than a barrel of monkeys. I'm telling you, this thing is a blast to play. We're learning how to play Day of the Eagle by the great Robin Trower. It's my first Robin Trower lesson. So this was requested a couple days ago by an Academy member and the little live stream that I do with Academy members every weekend. And I thought it was a good idea. So we're gonna jump on it. Before I do though, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Ring that notification bell, of course, so you'll know when I release a new video. And if you see a little video of mine pop up, please watch it, or just like and comment on it as well. And it really helps the video. If you watch it, it really helps the video get seen by more people. YouTube knows this and they push it to more people. So please watch the videos. If you really want to support what I do here on YouTube, the link in the description is the best way. You'll see a link to my Guitar Academy, the GL365 Academy. It's kind of my online guitar school. That link will give you a free 7-day trial to it too. My guitar school contains all my guitar courses that cover kind of complete beginner courses for just total beginners to more advanced courses for technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone, you name it. Like I said before, I go live every Saturday with like a live video chat with just Academy members. It's a lot of fun. And you get personalized support from me beyond that as well. So please go check it out. All right, let's jump into the song. I'm in standard tuning here, and we just have this absolutely killer intro. This thing just grooves, and it's just a lot of fun to play. So I'm gonna go through all the sections of the song, all the riffs that he plays, and then I'm gonna go through the first solo as well too. The outro solo, where it's kind of that slow blues thing, I'm gonna, instead of doing that note for note, because that's kind of as the song fades out, I'm gonna kind of tell you what he's using, what scale sources he's using, so you can kind of do your own kind of improvised solo there. So it'd be more of a teachable moment at the end of the lesson. Anyway, let's jump into this. So we're gonna start with this kind of this riff that's really cool. All right, so we have a couple of double stops here. It might look like I'm playing a bigger chord, but I'm not. I'm playing two strings. I'm playing this 4th fret there on the G and the 5th fret there on the B, but I'm muting all the strings with my index finger and stuff. So it looks like I'm doing more than I am, but I'm just really playing these two notes. So the rhythm that he plays here, you start with a down up. So it's 2 hits. So it's basically 2 hits, 3 hits, 3 hits, 2 hits. All right. Okay, 2 hits, then 3 hits 3 times, then 2 hits. So you start with 2 hits, so a quick down up. And then we have 3 hits, which is going to be done with an up, down, up. Now, I'm kind of telling you the strokes to do because it's kind of important to get the rhythm right and that feel right. So he's still kind of doing the down up, but there's like kind of like a quick little upstroke kind of you can always think of it as this is kind of leading into that. So it's how it feels. So you do that 3 times. So we start with just the 2 hits, then 3 times for the 3 hits. And then we're gonna end it with 2 hits, but these last 2 hits are gonna be an up-down instead of the down-up. Gotta get the timing correct. So we have this. 2, 3. I can't do that wide play. So start over. All right, and then we have this. So that's just 0, 2, 4 on the low E strings, and then 2, 4 again on the low E, and then 2, 4 on the A. Let's repeat that. So the fourth time, instead of doing that fill, you're gonna come up here and do this oblique bend. All right, so, or as Dimebag called them, hick bends. So that's gonna be the 12th fret there on the B, and then the 11th fret there on the G. So you're holding that note on the B string, not letting it move, and then bending the other one up and down on the G string, the 11th fret. And kind of hit it again at the end. So I'm just bending and releasing. All right, so all together for that intro. All right, then we get to the main riff of the song, which really grooves. I'm gonna preface this too. If you're watching more recent videos of Robin playing this, he doesn't play the riff exactly kind of like the original recording. He's kind of a little bit more laid back. He simplifies it a little bit, but so I'm gonna try to do it just like the recording, and it's a little bit more active on the recording. So we have this. All right, so that's gonna start with the 9th fret there. So this is in C sharp minor. So we're playing this C sharp in the bass here with our thumb. And then we're gonna go and hit the 11th fret for the first time through only. Then we're gonna hit the 11th fret there on the D and the G together. So you'll see right before I hit those, there's a quick little upstroke muted hit. So it goes. So that's kind of. So after you hit these, you just hit the low E string open. So we have this. And then we have this. Now here's especially where I see him. I've only watched one live video of him doing this, so he could have just been that day. He just did whatever. But on the recording, you hear full double stops. You hear this even on the A string. So that's what we're gonna do. So what the lick is sometimes the notes aren't being hit as loud as others, but we have the actual lick that he's pretty consistent with. You're gonna start with the 2 9s on the A and the D. And then you're gonna come up here to the 11th fret on the A and the D, play those, and then pull back off to those 2 9s. Now he's doing it with these fingers. You can do it with just one finger. So we have this. And then you're gonna end it by playing those double stops on the D and the G, the 11th fret, and then the 9th fret across the D and the G. So that's the pattern that he repeats. So like this. So I said, but this first chord, right when he comes in with the riff, that's the only time that first chord though is on the D and the G strings. For the rest of the time, you're gonna move that over to the A and the D. So right before that E hit, the low E hit, it's gonna be that chord now. So he kind of does this the same way every time. So whenever he starts playing this riff again, the very first time he plays the riff, those double stops are on the D and the G, and right before the low E hit. And then from then on out, in the remaining parts, as he repeats the riff, the double stops are on the A and the D string. So this is true for every time that he plays it throughout the songs. So you will always start that riff with the double stops being here, and then for the rest of the riff, move them here. Beyond that, nothing changes. So we still do like this. Now it's on the different strings. And then from there on out. Just that first hit. So all together. All right, from there we go to what I consider the pre-chorus. I'm sorry, this thing is all over the place. It's a lot of fun to play. So we come down here for this. So you're basically taking that thumb note down to the B on the low E string. And then you're going to be playing the double stops at the 7th fret there on the D and the G. So kind of, and then do that again. And then jump over here and grab the 11th fret on the A and the D together. So with this. And then we go into that little riff again that we did there in the beginning of the song. Now from here, we go to this. So that's gonna now move the thumb there to the 4th fret, this A flat here on the low E string. And you're gonna slide into this chord, which is gonna be the 8th fret there on the G, 7th on the B, and then 8th on the high E string. So you kind of do that twice. So when you get up there, strum that a little bit, and then again. And then you're gonna move the thumb note up to the 5th fret there on the low E string, and then we're just gonna, we don't have to worry about the note on the B string, it's just the 9th fret on the G and the high E string. And then move that up 2 frets to the 11ths. So we have this. And then back to the main riff. Remember, first hit on that main riff, double stops there on the D and the G. And now, down here. All right, so after that main riff again, repeated like 4 times, it goes to that opening riff that we did. And it only plays it twice though this time. We have this. Remember, and at the end of the second time, instead of doing that little fill, he does maybe some bar with it, but it's the same kind of oblique bend action going in the fret hand. And then we're back to the same verse. Sorry, you can just play this all day. It's so fun to play. The same kind of thing through the pre-chorus and then back to the main riff again. And then back into that kind of intro riff. Just twice. And that little double stops right there, those little oblique bends, was the start of the guitar solo. So let me play through this first solo for you, and then I'll show you how to play it note for note. So here we go. Back to that riff. All right, so we're gonna start here after this comes out of that. So it's back into those that oblique bend there. Kind of bend and release it, and then hit it at the end. And then we're gonna start with this slide from 6 to 8 on the G string. And he does a little bit of a whammy bar action on it. And then that's gonna pull off 8 to 6 twice. And then slide down to 4. From there, you're gonna play the 4th fret on the G, slide up to 6, and slide down to 2. Some vibrato. From there we have this. So that's gonna slide up to here to the 9th fret and do some bend and release at the 11th fret there on the G. And then release that bend and pull off to 9 and then play 9, 11 again. So this. And then slide up to the 13th fret into a bend. And release that bend and pull off to 11. And so we have this. Then you're gonna play 13, 12, 11 on the G string and grab that 12 on the B. And then so then we do after that 12th fret there on the B, you do a bend and release at the 11th fret. So we have this. Then jump back here to the 9th fret on the G. Play 9 on the G, bend and release at the 11th fret there on the G. And then you're gonna hammer 9 to 11, pull back off to 9, slide down to 8. And then it's either he picks it or just picking the note up on the string, he hits the open B string real quick. So we have this. So into that, we go into a bend there at the 12th fret on the B string. And that starts the next phrase, which looks like this. All right, so it kind of moves around quickly here. So we're just gonna start with this bend at the 12th fret there on the B. And then we're gonna play 9 on the high E string, pull off 12 to 9 there on the B, over to 9 on the G. And then we're gonna play 12 on the B again, and then into a pre-bend on the 11th fret there on the G. So you pick that a little bit, bring it down, go down to 9, then back to 11, slide up to 13, and then back down to 11. So all together. From there, we're gonna slide from 12 to 14 on the B string. So you get slide 12 to 14 and then quick trill. And you quickly go down to a bend at the 11th fret on the G string again. So a quick little bend and release, and then 9, hammer on 11, pull off to 9, slide down to 8. So then down to 11, 9 on the D. to 11 on the D, over to 9 on the G, slide 11 to 13, and end it with the 11 there on the D. So it's kind of one of those things where when you're doing these kind of blues-based kind of, so it's a lot of notes to get it exactly like he phrased it. He probably doesn't play it the same way ever twice, but you know, so whenever you do that, sometimes it's a little bit tedious with the notes. I get it. So. From there we have this. To end the solo. So we're gonna go into a bend there at the 14th fret on the high E string, and then release, and they're gonna pull off 14 to 13 to 12, over to 14 on the B, back to the 12 on the high E string, and back down to that 14 on the B. Then jump down real quick to a bend there on the 11th fret of the G string, and 9 on the B, 9 on the high E string, into a bend at the 12th fret there on the B. And then we're going to end the solo by going 9 on the high E string, 12, 9 on the B, and then a bend and release at the 9th fret on the G, pull off to 9, and then one more pull off, 11 to 9. And then we're back. So just kind of end the solo so you can get back to that riff in time. By the way, that solo is over the verse, that same verse progression and that same pre-chorus. So it's just that verse, the pre-chorus is what he's soloing over. So then it goes back to the verse section again after the solo, same pre-chorus, the same back to the verse or kind of main riff or the verse, whatever you want to call it. And then we get to that ending section, which he changes up that intro where we're playing these. He changes this up and slowly kind of turns it into like a slow blues. So it kind of sounds like this. Does that for less long, and then there's the solo, which I'll talk about in a second. So we start the same. But now the second time through, we start with the same rhythm on the double stops. And this, so we just play the open E string on this little line when he slows it down. And when you play the second fret on the low E, you kind of slight bend on it. And then play 2-4 on the A string. And then he's gonna grab those two double stops that we were doing earlier. He just hits them once. And you can hear that he does like a slight little bar dip on some of them at least. Actually, before you do that, the fourth fret on the A, hit the open E string, and then do those double stops. And then repeat. So you do those doubles, the version of the riff where you're doing the little double stops with a little bar dive on it, like 5 times, and then it just goes. Which is just, remember that bend at the second fret. Then when you get to that 4 on the A string, you just kind of hold it. So this is where you start hearing this outro solo being played. So instead of doing that outro solo note for note, it's really all you need to really focus on is C minor pentatonic and C sharp minor pentatonic and C sharp minor blues. So the #1 scale form that all guitar players play, and he's playing here as well, is at the 9th fret here. So it's like that 9/12 on the, so it's the same that you might know the E minor pentatonic here. Oh, the A minor here with Old Reliable. Well, it's the same thing, but it's at the 9th fret. So that's 9/12 on the low E, and then 9/11 on the A, B, and G, and then 9/12 on the B and the high E string. So that's where a majority of this is going to come from. But you can get a little bit more mileage out of that. Obviously, you can add the blues note right there, the 12th fret on the G. But also going up into the forms that are kind of adjacent to it, which he does a little bit too. So, for instance, we have this shape right here that he'll move up to, which is going to be basically the next pattern of C sharp minor pentatonic. So that's going to be 12/14 on the low E, 11/14 on the A and the D, 11/13 on the G, 12/14 on the B and the high E. So first you're going to want to try to really connect those. So like that little move from there took me to the next form up. And when he's in this form, he's hanging out on those top 3 strings. And then there's the form right behind it that we can work with as well too. And he's generally on the bottom strings here, so he's kind of working kind of like that. Just kind of low strings on this form below it, all of the form in the middle, and then just the high strings in the middle. So that's how a lot of guys, blues bass players, treat this middle scale. So the one behind it then is going to be the next position of C sharp minor pentatonic, 7/9 on the low E and the A, and then 6/9 on the D and the G. I learned this all in my Guitar Academy, by the way. Guitar Lesson 365. All right, so we have 7/9 on the B and the high E. So if you can visualize those, and then the same thing here. So you know where you can go, and then you can just kind of work pretty much in the middle one. Or work your way down in the lower one. All right, so I think that's a little bit more fun way to approach that outro solo, since he's just kind of winging a solo there. You can do it yourself, but just now knowing how he's doing it and how he's creating it, you can have a lot of fun over that slow blues riff that's going on and just kind of improvise for days over it. And you're gonna need that little breather because the song is pretty intense leading up to that section. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.